Times LitFest. I'm Samina Sheikh, and with me today I have acclaimed producer and director Ekta Kapoor, versatile author Manju Kapur, film director, screenwriter, and author Piyush Chau, and television actress Ridhi Dogra. Talking about Ekta Kapoor, she has been the pioneer of daily soaps, movies, OTTs, and has ruled the industry for over 2 decades. In addition, we have Manju Kapur, an Indian novelist whose first novel, Difficult Daughters, won the 1999 Commonwealth Writers' Prize. We also have Piyush Chau, who is known for his work as a screenwriter, director, and novelist. Finally, we have Ridhi Dogra, a renowned TV personality who has won the hearts of many Indians with her on-screen presence.
Hi.
Hi, Manjuji.
Hi, I'm so happy to see you.
I had the pleasure of meeting ma'am at her house and many years ago.
Yes, and we kind of meet again virtually, and I'm really quite thrilled about, the book being made into a film, and I've been thinking many deep thoughts about this.
Manjuji, how does it feel when your books are made into movies and series? Ekta, for instance, has adopted 3 of your books. How does it make you feel as an author?
I feel that if she hadn't done it, I would have reached that many fewer people. Now, of course, when you do it, you have a series and so on and so forth. And I remember she told me the very first time she visited me, she said, this book is enough for 70 episodes. I wasn't even thinking of the numbers of episodes. And then Ye Hai Mohabbatein went on to I don't know how many hundreds of episodes.
Thousands, 2,000.
Wow. Really? So obviously one book is not going to do that. So it was kind of, she took off from where I left and it just acquired a life of its own. So, people came back to the book or whatever, then that was just good, I thought. I liked that.
Rithi, have you read the book personally? How was your journey while playing the character of Asta from Manjuji's book, A Married Woman?
I did. So when the process was on, and when I got to know that I have to read this book because that's the role I'm going to play. Firstly, I was over the moon. I couldn't believe that I'd be doing that. It was such an honor. And I read the book, and so I'm as an actor, I ask a lot of questions. I'm Paresh Rawal from Judai. I'm like, I want to know everything. Why is she walking? Where is she going? Where is she coming from? Why is she standing? Why is she sitting? And I was like, I can't tell you how happy I am that there's this book I can read Astha, and I'll have so much of characterization and so much of Astha that I can understand from the book. So, and the book was beautiful. And I think like there's this essence in the book, which is, there's a lot of soul in the book. There's a lot of therav in the book, in the writing. And I feel like somewhere that's come into the show. I've seen a little bit of what we've done. And I feel like that, it's like a soft breeze, like a warm hug. And that's exactly how the book was. It's very gently telling you what's in a girl's mind, what's in a woman's mind. There's no, like, it's not loud anywhere. It's just very gently taking you into this girl's mind and her world. And I feel like we've sort of got that in the show that's come out now also, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Ekta, A Married Woman, is a story of an artist whose canvas challenges the constraints of middle-class existence. Plus, it is set at a time of political and religious upheaval. What made you choose this subject and make it into a web series?
So a long time ago when I met Manjuji, I'd come to Delhi for some event of Dirty Picture. And I met her. I said, I have to meet Manjuji. So can I get some 15 minutes? And she called me home. And I sat next to her. I remember I had told her this. I said, my custody has been made, and I think she was very happy, but she was also a little upset because a lot of the story changed. When it was coming on television, I had to simplify Divyanka's character, and I had to add some levels. She was married in the show. In the book, I had to make her unmarried because of certain things. And I was like, and then I remember talking to her about various other things also. About her other books and everything. And then I remember this very distinctly. I don't think she does. But she asked me what is my favorite book, and I said it is The Married Woman. And she said it is special. And I remember telling her that I'd not buy it now. I don't think either television is ready, because I'll have to change a lot of it. And nor is film ever going to accept something as simple. sublime as this book. But whenever there is a medium that I can make something like this without, sorry for my language, bastardizing it, I would make it, because it is too soulful to, unless I'm able to talk the intangible in this show and make that tangible. And instead of going on to the main arcs, or the big arcs that everyone talks about. I mean, this book is far more than just a same sex story, you know. It is about a journey, and it's such a strong individualistic show that it had a story that it had to be told when it doesn't have to fit into, oh, ye yahan chalega ya nahi chalega. So
Hmm.
I'm so happy that finally the OTT platforms came in and I could actually make this show.
Piyush, your third crime thriller book was also adapted into a web series recently. What was the experience of the same, both as an author and a director?
I'd like to tell you, but first I just like to say, Manjuji, I have a very special person in my life who is thinks that you are one of her favorite professors. My wife is your student in
Oh,
Miranda.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so you convey that for her thing to you.
Wow.
So, like Ekta said, there are certain things which don't, and when they're written at that point of time, they don't kind of find the right space. Like they don't find, like the television, like she said, is not ready for certain stories. Films are not ready for certain stories. And now with the OTT space, which is exploring new kind of stories, etc. I think writers like me and others have found a home, and it did take a bit of time from the time I actually wrote it for it to come to screen. This character that I created, Inspector Virkar, and I wrote 3 books, is now going to come in 3 different seasons. The first season is based on my third book. And it took a bit of time to kind of get there, but now it's a great time. I think what we were able to do while getting onto this journey was to kind of retain the essence of the book and yet give it a flair which was good for an audience, which is good for the right kind of audience, which is consuming this kind of content now. And so I think we are finding those spaces, and we are now working in a slightly different manner to kind of adapt ourselves to this new medium for us. And I believe that everybody else on the platform would probably say the same thing. I think Ekta has already agreed, but with the way that she has kind of adapted things into Alt Balaji and the kind of shows, we are quite on the right track. I think moving towards a new kind of audience generation, a new kind of particular kind of content which is coming out. Past 2 years has already shown a new way, and I think there's just like a lot to kind of ground to cover for us.
The plot of the book, which was written way back in 2002, centers on a woman's obsession with love and lesbianism. Because of this, Asta risked losing the acquisition of a conventional marriage. At the time when we are having this session, LGBTQ rights and issues are a very relevant topic. What was your thought behind it, Manjuji?
It's not a marriage, it's a relationship. In fact, both these women are married. So, it's kind of an exploration of their sexuality. And to explore your sexuality means really to explore yourself. It's to explore the options you have. Because our sexuality, I mean, how much freedom do you have in forming relationships? How much freedom do you have in going out there and doing whatever you need to do in order to lead a fulfilled life? So it's not so much, I mean, sexuality is just a very narrow aspect of it. As I said, both these women are married. Asta has a family, a husband, children, in-laws, the works. Okay, but there's something missing. And, she's kind of in a traditional mold, and the little 2-minute promo I saw of it, captures that very well. People are calling her to behave in a certain way, putting her, and she goes along with it. These are people she loves. So it's not as though she wants to break her marriage or things like that, but she wants something more. She doesn't, I mean, to be pigeonholed like that, to be put in a box like that, is to be confined and constricted in a way. have the power, if you like, the social, the economic power to question. It's not enough. I want more. I don't want to be confined like this. And so it's an exploration, of a whole lot of things. The sexuality is just a kind of aspect of it, it's not confined to that. And that's why I was really pleased that this book was taken up, because it opens up the whole issue of women's relationships to other people as well as to themselves. What is the cost? What is the price of denying various emotional aspects of yourself? I mean, we do pay. Women, I mean, I know in India, often pay a heavy price for, cutting off sides of themselves. And yet, often there is no choice. As I said, we live with families we love. We want to please, the people around us. We're socialized to please the people around us. Often we don't know of any other way of being. So it's not as though my books are prescriptive. I don't believe in that. But it's the kind of explorations, okay, that these are issues that, that we need to think about. It's like that.
Ekta, even now, when Section 377 has been struck down, many conservative people and families don't accept same-sex relationships. Now that you have made a web series on the same, what do you think about it?
I don't think we still in this country are allowed same-sex marriages. And but as far as same-sex relationships go, I think as a country we're going to give each other cut some slack. I mean, we've lived a certain life, a certain amount of conditioning for so long. People are now slowly getting up and saying, okay, people can make choices. And it doesn't really have to be as contained as sexuality. If you know that internationally they've come to this conclusion, there are more than 100 sexualities in the world. So there's far more than gay, bisexual, lesbian, straight man, straight woman. These are 5. They are more than 100.
True.
So once
How
the
are you going
world,
to continue?
yeah, I mean, people are going to make choices, and once they make their choices, their families will have to adjust. And once families adjust, a new set of people can make better choices. And sexuality, like ma'am said, is a very small section. So 377 and Indian families are now waking up to a whole new India that will have the chance to make choices. And it all starts from people like Manjuji, who writes books on topics at one time which were taboo. I really believe women like her, Nina Gupta, took decisions in their life that let women later do what they want, or should I say, let them make their own choices.
Because of loving a person of the same sex, many people are even killed. There is very little or no acceptance in society about it. Ridhi, what do you have to say about this?
I feel like, even before time, people were making their choices and they have always lived according to, I'm talking about individuals. People have always lived according to what suits them. I mean, we are the land of, Kama Sutra, and, we were clearly really open, some centuries ago, and everything sort of changed along the way. And I also feel that it was honor killing. I mean, so what you're saying is, no matter what you do, there will always be people who'll have a problem, whether it's same-sex marriage or it's marrying someone of your choice. It could be a man or a woman. It can be based on caste, color, creed, gender. It can be anything. But I do feel that, like Ekta said, that if people fall in love, their families are just. I think that's where the difference comes in, and that's what will make a ripple effect of a difference, because we do see that a lot now. We do see men marrying men, women and women together. Everybody's coexisting, and it will take time. But I think, just like our show based on the book is talking about individuality over conditioning, and I feel like there's always a fight in that. This anytime we're in a society, it wants us to conform and it wants us to be the same. It's easier that way. It's easier to just put everybody in boxes, because then you can process things better. So individuality of any kind sort of takes a beating in a society, and it's up to the individual to stand in their truth. You know, it's almost spiritual. It's like I'm here and this is my truth and this is how I want to be. And you know, I may change my, you know, I may change my mind later. So then what are you going to do? Are you then going to be okay with me, or how does it work? So I feel like it's got a lot to do with an individual, and you know, they need to live with their truth. And your loved ones, people who are your well-wishers, they will support you, or you'll find out who your, you know, loved ones are, who are your, you know, cheerleaders or your tribe. And that will have an effect eventually on society. I mean, I know I was sitting with my nephew who's 4 years old, and you know, we were reading a newspaper, and there was a man and a man hugging in one picture. I think it was when the whole thing about Article 377 was out. And I just, you know, he looked at that and he told me, "Bui, see, they love each other, they're hugging each other." You know, and I just felt, if at that moment I was a person who said, "No, don't say that," you know, that sort of, that's what will cause a difference, you know, that we let people, let these kids who are 4 right now, they'll grow up with the thought of this is normal. And I hope that that's how, you know, a change comes along, and it will happen. It is happening.
Piyush, would you like to add something?
I think everybody has spoken about same-sex marriage, etc. I am a great believer in gender equality, and in fact, you know, in my latest book, I have explored you know, stories of a gender which is not really spoken about, or a community which is spoken about. And believe me, they are the most affected by things like Article 377 and you know, same-sex marriage. It is a community of hijras, and you know, I have kind of done a lot of research in this, and found that they were you know, a community which was targeted a lot by all kinds of people, not just the police, the you know, society at large, etc. You know, at one point they're called to weddings, and then they're, you know, kind of ostracized, etc. And I believe that things like Article 77 going away and same-sex marriage being more acceptable will also open up us up to accepting other larger communities which do not adhere to our set societal norms. I think what we should do is, see, because, you know, most people don't know the other. They don't know the other, so once they don't know the other, they kind of keep themselves away, and they kind of, you know, develop biases towards them. Even I had a few biases, you know, towards certain people. But when I started doing my research, I realized, and I opened up, and I realized how important it is for us to be able to communicate to the next generation, like you know, to our children and etc. How important it is that to our you know, to the sensitive young minds, we communicate that everybody is equal on all grounds, whether it is sex, marriage, gender, you know, choices of partners, etc. And I think in the next generation we will see that effect. It's changing. I think, you know, good things are happening, and it's changing now. In the future, you'll see a lot of change. I'm confident about that.
Piyush, Pratik Babbar was seen playing the lead role of the web series based on your book. How did you decide to give him the role?
See, I actually, I'm a part of the whole thing. It was just not my decision. It was a group decision. But the most important thing is that we focused on trying to get the right person who would be able to communicate, you know, a certain internal angst, which is what my character had. And the whole milieu is very gritty, and the character is a sort of a fish out of the water in the scenario that it surrounds him. We believe that Pratik is one actor who has not been explored, or at least he's very underrated. He's a fantastic actor, and he has not been given the you know, right roles. And people who have seen the promos today feel. Plus, I wanted to keep the character very close to what I had imagined in the book. So it was trying to find the right actor who would be able to convey that. And so when Pratik read the book and he gave the audition based on the book itself, we felt that he was able to kind of internalize the character very well. And today, actually, if you see the promo and all, people are responding that they have never seen Pratik in this manner. in, coming across in this banner. So I think our decision was right, but our decision was born a lot in finding the right actor, and Pratik was available, and also somebody who would work specifically for our project. It really worked for us.
Riddhi, we all know that the entertainment industry is a highly competitive place. What challenges do you face as an actor?
I think the biggest challenge is that as an actor, you don't have a bio data, you don't have a resume that you carry with yourself. So you can't tell people I can do this, please trust me. And it's actually hard to live with your truth and to live with your authentic self and make a place for yourself in this very cutthroat industry. It's hard because everybody is giving you all kinds of advice, out of sight, out of mind, do this, don't do that. And I've always chosen the lesser path. I've always, gone on the road less traveled. I've always tried to, even when it was television, I tried to do work which A, I'd be proud to see, B, were strong female characters. I was always drawn to them, and they were honestly very few of them, without like, I mean, all of her characters have been really, really strong for sure. But, there was a certain kind of work I wanted to do, and that was very limited. And there was a point in my career, I did decide to, stop acting. I thought.
Ridhi never worked with me, by the way, on television.
Okay. So I wanted to do something special. I always knew that if I wanted to work with her because I have a lot of friends who worked with her, and I always in my heart knew if I'm going to work with Ekta, it has to be something really, really special. I didn't know what it was. I was just saying, I was just throwing it in the air. But yes, challenges were there. I think for me, my challenge was less from the point of view of starting acting, but more from what work will I choose. I'm actually really grateful to OTT as a platform because, coming from television, there itself is a big taboo. You're a TV actor, so you can't do this, you can't do that. And that's really sad. I feel like people within the industry really do tend to, again, put us in boxes, and that makes it easier for them, whether it's casting people or anybody. And, it's upon us for not getting dejected and to believe that, no, I can, and wait for the right work. I did Asur, and after that, I was told to wait, you're meant to do good work, wait. And it was only after Asur came out and it was seen that I got called to test, and, then I was, given this book to read, and I was like, oh my God. So, sabr ka phal meetha hota hai. If you wait, things do happen for you. So yeah, the struggle is always to, without holding a resume, say I'm capable, give it to me, I can do it, I promise you I can. But you can't say that as an actor. So yeah, it's hard that when it's also very easy to get into a bubble. So you constantly got to keep unlearning. You've got to keep, keeping your feet on the ground and sort of stay in reality and not go into some make-believe world. So yeah.
Manjuji, as an author whose book is being adapted into a series, do you go through the script or do you leave it to the directors and producers?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, my thing is to write a book, and it's a solitary thing, and you're sitting there in your study and doing it year after year. I take forever to write a book. And something like this is, I have no knowledge of it. I have no expertise. And I believe, I'm one of those writers who believes that a book has a life of its own. You write it, you send it out into the world, and in a way, it has to make its own way. And when, web series or whatever. So, I mean, the person who bought it has their own, see, my imagination is not a visual one. It's kind of a, intellectual, written. I'm interested in the, I've been a teacher. I was a teacher for almost 30 years. I taught literature and stuff like that. So I'm interested in the text and the context, the character and the context in which they find themselves. And I look at how they negotiate their circumstances, their context and stuff like that. Now, that's the world, and those are the words in which, I inhabit. And when a book is bought, I'm absolutely delighted because I feel that my words will reach more people. But I'm not really interested in deciding how the producer or whatever, how they're going to do those words. It's a different medium, and they are going to do it in, I mean, I can just see my role as being, interfering, a nuisance. They'll say, who's this person? Get rid of her. I have no function in this. And I don't want to have a function in it. I'm on to my next book, and it's a different world. It's a different medium. I don't have experience of it, and I don't have a vision for it. And, I'm happy with, as I said, if what I'm trying to say reaches more people, I'm just happy.
At present, many remakes of old movies and songs are being made and are also being criticized. Manjuji, what do you have to say about it?
Well, you don't own a cultural artifact. I mean, you do in a way, but you don't in a way, because once things are out there, they're out there for people to relate to, or remake as it suits the time, or whatever. And if something has been adapted, or if a song, again, I don't know much about songs, sorry, but whatever. Okay, if something has been adapted that shows it has a relevance, we all want to be relevant. Nobody wants to be forgotten.
Yeah.
And so if this is a way of keeping alive your content, your work, your song, or whatever, then that's all to the good, I think. I mean, look at books that were written 100, 200 years ago. They're still being adapted. They're still, people still find things in them to relate to. And so they go on making, retelling that same story again and again. So in a way, it has that original shadow behind it, but it also has that remake or that retelling in front. So you have these two things. And, as I said, somebody said they are only about, I keep reminding myself of that when I think I'm repeating myself, that there are only 12 or 13 or 14 stories in the world. So, that in itself is a retelling, but every generation, every time needs to tell or make these narratives in a way that they find compelling, or that they find relevant, or that they feel says something about the situations and the circumstances in which they're living, or says something about they themselves, or if you're a woman, your choices, or whatever. So it's kind of a dynamic thing. A story is a living thing, and to give it this life, or to retell it, is to give it, as I said, is to help its life, if you like, in a way.
Piyush, what are your views about it?
I'm fairly open with remixes, but I just feel that the people who are making the remixes should make at least 10, 15, non-friends listen to the song. And perhaps if the remix song, and perhaps if they make those 10, 15 people who are not their friends listen, they might not release that remix, because it is not that good. Pehle sun lo yaar, suna lo. Because, remix already, the original already has a mental space. Remix just for the sake of remix doesn't make any sense to me. But I think I'm very open to anything being given a new lease of life, but not just for the sake of it.
Thank you, Manjuji, Ekta, Riddhi, and Piyush for being a part of the Times Literature Festival. It was great talking to all of you, and all the best for the projects you're working on.